You're listening to The Restaurant Grind, the podcast of small business restaurateurs. Today we have Jason Heckendorf with Eggs Up Grill in Germantown. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So I come from Wisconsin. I've been in Tennessee for 7 years with my wife and my two daughters. It's been a blessing being here. We love it. I actually have some restaurant background in the past. It's always been a passion of mine. Doing this as more of a ministry and just that second type, getting out there, trying to do something to build a dream, work a daytime job. And love that daytime job, work for a wonderful company, but fully supported by my family, by my wife, and by my two children in this venture.
We'd love to hear that restaurant story and see where you started on your journey for the Eggs Up franchise.
So I was actually sitting in my office, and a friend of mine, Lamar, he'd come in, he sits next to me, and he said, I visited this place in North Carolina that serves eggs. I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah.
He shows me these pictures on his phone, and one of the shirts said, "Welcome home." And it caught my attention, and I just kind of put it in my memory bank, and we finished going through our conversation, and he goes, "I think we should open one of these." And I looked at him and I said, "Yeah, let's do it."
Yeah.
And it all boiled down to me from the welcome home on his shirt.
Yeah.
My wife and I planted a church, and it's all about welcome home, all about, it's called oikos, it's Greek for home, for family. And it really grabbed me, gave me this feeling. And then after reading the story of Eggs Up, I was like, you know what, this could be very fitting. And then when you read the concept that they have for the franchise, in my opinion, based on other restaurants that I've been involved in and other businesses, the business concept was relatively simple. I mean, you are making bacon and eggs.
Yeah.
You think it's easy till you start doing it.
How many eggs are you up to now? There's
It's over 54,000.
Wow.
and you're 4 months in.
4 months in.
That's a lot of damn eggs, man.
Yes.
Ooh.
It's a pro.
Yeah.
Not getting the eggshells in the eggs.
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to do a contest, one-handed cracks, lay out them out and have some of the teammates race just because it looks like it'd be fun. And I saw it on,
Absolutely.
I think I was on like Hell's Kitchen or something.
Yeah. Have you been in the restaurant business at all before this? Like when was your first restaurant job? Like go all the way back to the beginning. Like
Lifetime ago, when I was young, I actually worked at a log cabin, is what it was called. But I was a dishwasher. But I was always intrigued by breakfast.
Yeah.
Loved it there. But then I managed other restaurants after that. I was a culinary manager at an Olive Garden. My wife and I owned a jewelry store over in Delafield, Wisconsin. And a fella came to me and said, "Hey, I'm buying this restaurant. I need some help running it." Wrote a menu, helped get it started, just had a passion for it. Just never liked the work till 4, get done, reopen. I never liked that concept of it.
So the hours right now, was it 6 a.m.?
6 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Man.
yeah,
that's
every
great.
morning, bright and early.
That's right.
How busy are you guys at 6 a.m.?
It varies. This morning, for example, just this morning, they had 14 fellas walk in.
Yeah.
That wanted to sit down. But normally it's pretty slow in the morning till about 9 o'clock.
Yeah. So 5 months in now, you've had a lot of early fun, I'd say, interesting times in Memphis. Tell me a little bit about some of the initial struggles getting started, the process of just getting the restaurant ready to open, and then some of the early growing pains.
We were blessed to have a great contracting company. They did a phenomenal job helping getting everything done, but we did everything brand new.
Yeah.
So new equipment, everything was new. So you'd think when you go into this restaurant with all new equipment that it would all work and work well. Well, we're on our second oven.
Oh, wow.
Our third is on its way. We still have had these challenges of, they don't know if it's gas supply, if it's an oven. You don't know what it is. When we first got going, our hoods wouldn't go on properly. I mean, all these little things that I'm like, how do you fix them? Like, what do you do?
It's brand new. Why is it? I want it to work. I turn on, I want it to work. That's
Yep.
what I want to do.
Griddle's not working. Coolers on the line not working properly. Going out and coming in, having to dump an entire cooler. But the biggest challenges was Mother Nature itself. We had two days without power completely in our first two weeks. No power. Show up, you're there. It's like, oh man, we're just getting started.
We had a bunch of bad storms right in the beginning of summer.
Yeah, right there in July.
Yeah.
So it's like we're like, oh boy, this isn't good for business, good for the employees, good for the team. And then we had a water catastrophe in the city of Germantown. We didn't let it stop us. We hauled in over 1,000 gallons worth of water,
Wow.
50 cases of bottled water, and we served and did our thing on paper plates and plastic forks. But it's all how you persevere through it. I think that it gained an appreciation from the team members that we have, showed them that if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish things and do it well, but more importantly, do it right. And that was the key for what we were doing. If we're not going to do it right, let's not do it.
That's huge for the community, just showing them that, hey, we're here, and your motto of welcome home. If at your home in Germantown, you're eating on paper plates and you're eating the same stuff. So that's really cool.
Whatever it takes, right? Whatever it takes. So a lot of the early fun too is getting the team built, trained, developed, camaraderie, teamwork. How's that process been so far?
That actually went really, really well. Nathan and Ty are two young men that we're mentoring into their entrepreneurship for their futures. We set up tables outside the building. We interviewed for weeks in advance, hired for weeks in advance, right outside the building, just sat people down, walked them through a vacant building, essentially, showed them what was to come, gave them this visual of what we were going to have. And for 5 weeks prior to opening, we met at my house every single week, one night a week with the entire team that we were building. And I basically called them Team Connects. So we shared a meal together. We got to pray together, but just give them a vision for a different feel for what a restaurant can look like. Normally they can be, they're tough on each other, and try to create a different type of team environment. And that was a lot of fun to do. Hiring the staff there's a lot of workforce out there that they tell you that they can't get calls back, that people don't want to hire them. It's finding good quality is the challenge. I think the bodies are out there. Yeah. It's finding the quality ones within them, but they're there if you're willing to give somebody a chance and believe in them.
Have you guys continued to do that Team Connect type stuff since you've opened?
We do it more internally now. It's been more difficult. We're going to do one on Saturday, actually, coming up here now. And I want to get into at least a monthly rhythm of that with our team. Things that were, when we got started, were a lot busier and just going different directions than I would have ever anticipated. So we didn't get to keep that rhythm. But every morning we pray with our people before we open. We're always spending good quality time. Like I want to know about their day. I want to know what's going on inside and outside of the workplace for them. And we try to really get on that personal relationship with them.
Obviously, you're part of a franchise group. How's the franchise been so far?
Amazing. They've been really supportive. When we call them, we need something, they're there. They're answering questions, giving us new insights to what we need to look at, how we can view it. For the first 2 weeks, they came and worked with us within the restaurant, just showed us the rhythms, the ropes. And then they've come back once in between just to kind of just check up on things. And really the things that she pointed out were just, hey, this could help you be more efficient. This could eliminate this. This could take this challenge away, which was really helpful.
Super supportive. That sounds like an awesome relationship to have. Obviously, having somebody it's a proven concept. They know what works, what doesn't work. They can help you with the early hiccups and speed bumps that kind of happen as you get going. It's a nice support system to have. How have you found the Memphis restaurant community to be, I'll say, supportive or inclusive for you?
We haven't gotten to branch out a whole lot, but in our area, just right by us, amazing. No matter what happened, you're kind of communicating with each other. Hey, if you need something, come get it from me. Hey, did you know about this? Or hey, I needed to know a couple of vendors on a few things. Here's who I use. This guy's great. Check this out. Tell him I sent you. That's been really, really supportive right there. I look at it as competition's good. Yeah. It doesn't have to be threatening to each other. So talk well about your neighbor, offer him help. I've gotten to meet a direct competitor just at an event just the other night. And it was finally I've gone there a couple times and just tried to meet him. And it's like, hey, glad to get to meet you. Yeah. And hey, let's eat at each other's restaurants. Let's critique each other and try to make each other better.
Yeah. I think the Memphis restaurant community is one of it's competitive, but like we all eat at everybody's restaurants. It's not like I can eat my same stuff, only my stuff every day. Like I want to see how other restaurants are doing things. I'll take ideas and from them, they'll take it from me. I'll find out, the ones that are super successful, the owners that are really doing a good job of running their restaurant and what they're paying attention to and how they hire and the culture they've built there. We can look at it from a positive or negative, like, oh, I don't want to do that. Or wait, that they've really got that figured out. I want to do that. A couple of models in town that I'm always impressed by is the Huey's model. It's a burger joint here in Memphis, and you go through that, and you're like, this is an interesting model. They've done a good job of repeating multiple stores, grown it from organic, have it figured out. They always have a consistent product. Their team is always consistently good, and it's good to see. That's just one of the models I think of. And as I've been to your restaurant now a number of times, I see a lot of those same characteristics in your team. Like your team is really wanting to do a good job,
Absolutely.
and you want the food to be good, and you want the service to be good. It's a new restaurant, so there's always bumps and bruises along the way. But if the intent is right and the heart is right, it's probably you're on the right track.
That's right. That's right. And we have an excellent team. They're striving to do better every day. Front of house just knocks it out of the park. Back of house is a different ball game, trying to figure out how can you get faster.
Yeah.
How can you?
I can only cook an egg so fast.
Yes, and there's only so much room on the griddle. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
there's got to be a way.
I think of the movie My Cousin Vinny. He's like, they're talking about the making of grits. He's like,
grit.
no self-respecting Southerner uses instant grits. Well, then
Your grit cooks faster than my grit?
Yeah,
No.
you said it only took you 6 minutes, but a real grit would take you 12 minutes, whatever it is. It's like, yeah, that's how this works. Like, I can only cook an egg so fast.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, it is a struggle. It's a breakfast place, right? So I'm assuming you have massive pops during busy breakfast time. So Saturday morning and Sunday morning are probably pretty crazy.
Yes.
And managing that and knowing the expectation of what that's going to look like. But all of a sudden you'll have a Wednesday that's crazy packed too. And you're like, yeah, we weren't planning on having 4 times our coverage from the week before. So how is that
Yeah, those pars.
consistency in establishing your par and expectations of what you're expecting as far as counts go and all that kind of stuff? How's that process been?
We've been fortunate. We've hit some peaks during the week that Monday through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are pretty consistent with where they're at. But we've had some definite leaps during the week. We prep today for tomorrow. So we have a prep person there. So when they're falling short, because you do get busy, the prep guy's going to stay a little late, but he's going to fall back to support the line, getting some of those things out. And that's really worked out well. We've also been fortunate that on our line, we're being new, we're training. And I keep telling these guys, yes, you got to watch labor, but more importantly, you got to make your people do it well, do it right, and make them feel good. So we've always had that little extra body that they can jump in and at least get in, fill in somewhere where they're not dead weight. They're actually of assistance. That's really helped out a lot. And as we're getting into catering, those are earlier morning preparation, but you're planning it for the day before. And those things have really helped us get along as well.
I mean, obviously you take a little hit in labor costs with the training and development and the efficiencies of your team. So early on, profitability probably is, my guess, not as good as you hope it is long-term, but in the short term, this is the investment we have to make in order to have the right team involved.
That is correct.
I know you talked about having that corporate support. Eggs Up here in Memphis. Is this the first one in Tennessee?
Second one in Tennessee. There's one in Johnson, Tennessee. We should have gotten him beat, but he beat us to it. He's a great guy. We actually went and visited him.
That's only about 10 hours away, so it's fine, right? Johnson City is about as far from Memphis as you can get in the state of Tennessee.
Yes, and I understand that they just signed some on in Nashville as well. So it's going to kind of start to filter in, and we've got the Shelby County area.
And that's like 150 of these? Like, this was the first time of me seeing this brand.
When we signed on, there was 56 is what I think the number was. We ended up opening up as number 66, and there's now over 170 slotted to open.
Wow.
Currently.
That's a fast-moving brand.
Yes.
So hopefully the support team will catch up with all that growth so they can help actually 100 restaurants get up and running.
Yep.
That's a little, that could be a little bit scary, a little bit, just from this brand's really growing. It's also a good sign, but the ability for the franchise to support you guys is going to be could be some bumps and bruises along the way there.
Absolutely.
This episode is sponsored by the Memphis Restaurant Association, the Mid-South's key advocate for restaurant owners, managers, and employees alike, promoting the best dining experiences Memphis has to offer.
So, breakfast joint every morning, 6 a.m., bright and early. How's that process been so far?
I think it's amazing. I found that the first couple of mornings, they were rough. It's like, whoa, I got to do this.
4 a.m. getting up.
Yeah, getting up at 4, get there at 5, be ready for 6. But once I think you get in the groove, you get going, and things are really working out well. But I try to rotate several of the team where you got an early morning, you get a little bit of a later, but if you're morning, you get a little earlier cut. But if you really look at it in the perspective, if you're working from 5 to 2 even, or 6 to 2, you got your whole day.
Yeah.
Go home, take a little power nap. You got the rest of your afternoon with your family or your kids, whatever you're doing. And then you got the rest of that time. So it's really been nice.
It does make it pretty family friendly for a restaurant worker to have a career in the restaurant business, right? Yes. They can get home in time for their kids to come home from school. They can have dinner with their kids. They might be leaving a little bit before them sometimes, but not every day. But yeah, that's if I ever owned a restaurant, that'd be I would like to do a breakfast lunch combination. I think it's you get a lot of repeat business.
Yes, you do.
yeah, people are getting the habit of like, I eat there for breakfast 4 days a week or whatever it is. And so it's like, it's very nice to have that. We have seen a number of other breakfast joints pop up in Memphis over the last little bit. Have you guys found that to be kind of a challenge or anything yet?
Actually, not yet. And the one opened shortly after us, not so far off, and we opened near where another restaurant was. I think that the competition helps, and I think that in the area, people are thriving for breakfast places.
I think it was missing where y'all are.
It's a trend also just out there. I mean, we get business people, that want to come out, individuals, retired folks that want to just go hang out together for a little while and just be together.
Yeah, I can't wait to do that when I retire. We go have a cup of coffee with my buddies every morning, then go play 9 or 18 or whatever it is. Sounds like a good day.
Yes.
Growing up in small town Mississippi, you always had that. It was our local Shipley Donuts.
Yeah.
And so there was a group of men that went there every morning. And so you could always count
my
on
dad
that.
is one. My dad has a place he goes to. It's a long town out in the middle of nowhere. But there's a group of old men that have breakfast every morning there at 5:30, and it's every day. There's 10 of them there. And my dad's like, I feel bad. I didn't go with them this day. He feels guilty not showing up. So many times he's already had breakfast the time I get up, and we go have breakfast again in the same place. So very similar.
I know you talked about a couple of the younger guys and maybe managers that you're kind of mentoring and growing with the restaurant. Do y'all have any plans for growth in the future for your content?
We are slotted to open up 2 others. Okay. We're working on location number 2 as we speak, and just trying to find the proper location that's going to be fitting for us, for the brand, and then working to roll into number 3. And then from there, our goal is to, make them 4 and 5, help build that out for them and go from there. So over the course of the next 3 years, our goal is to open up the other 2.
That's awesome. You're in a unique position. You have a full-time other job. Your partner has a full-time other job. That was some of our conversations early on as you're kind of getting started. What does that look like long-term? How do you grow these things the way you want to? I mean, obviously, long-term, there'll be a transition figuring out how that works. But having managers that you grow and develop that can run these things is the key.
Yes.
And so you had the initial core team kind of already identified before you open. Identifying the next team from within is going to be huge as you continue to grow.
Our goal is to take other individuals within leadership from within. So whether it's Nathan and Ty, and they decide one of them is going to go off to the next location with some of our other leadership, we're already starting to bring some of them into leadership roles and just work with them on our culture. And as we do that, the model's set up that we can continue to do what we do. There's myself, my business partner, a silent partner that doesn't live here in town. And as we do it, if we do it properly and really instill the culture into them first, and then the basis of the business, these guys are really grasping it well. There's challenges, and they're young. And they're learning what it's like to be in business. They know how to work. They're hard workers, but you take it for granted sometimes that it. They're learning it.
Hold people accountable, having difficult conversations, having to let somebody go, how to, I made a mistake hiring that person. That's on me. We didn't ask the right questions during the interview process. That's all learning to be a manager of any role in any business. I know I struggled with that. I mean, I remember the first person I ever had to fire. Man, I was breaking down and going, I did not want to do that. It's the hardest thing, but it's a part of the role that they're in, and they're learning that through the process. It's exciting though.
Yes, it's been a lot of fun, and they've worked hard to do it. And the team that's there that wants to grow with us, they really seem very serious, very dedicated to not only making this successful, because we have to make one successful before you can move off into the second one. And I think that'll help, because we'll have this set up, we'll hire, we'll train just before the next one opens. So really, hopefully we won't have to do a lot of training when we get there. It'll be your setup, get some things going, and then you'll be able to launch.
Learn from some of the mistakes on the first one.
Yes.
What kind of things are you guys working on now in the restaurant to keep improving? Like you probably have a laundry list of all things you're trying to work on all the time, but what are the kind of top priorities you're kind of working on right now?
Top priority is making sure that our third-party orders are getting accomplished in first off in timeliness, but then the accuracy of each order.
Yeah.
A lot of places, if you go, I've been ordering a lot of third-party myself, just checking out, how do they do it? What do they do? They don't include the condiments they have you ask for them. They this, they that. Well, what you find out is if you don't put them in, they wanted them. Yeah. If you make them ask, they're not going to ask. So we've gotten into a rhythm of just including what is needed for that that order that they have, and just making sure that everything's right there and getting that timeliness down. The next big thing is our catering. We want to really step into catering, that we feel that we can be very successful with that. The concept that we have is very easy. And it's just a matter of getting out there to the local businesses, letting them know what we're doing. Keep it simple. Get them some bacon, eggs, some sausage, some home fries and some biscuits, coffee, whatever it is that they need, get that delivered to them, but then give it to them with an experience. I mean, it's one thing just to show up and just to present it and deliver it. We want to give that next level experience with that, with it. And then we're super excited. And I know it's coming up. It's been a little over 3 months in the making, but we're able to start to serve our mimosas. Yeah. And that's exciting for us.
Drunk for breakfast. I love it. Let's do it.
So that's been a lot.
Hair of the dog, right? That's the key of breakfast. It's
Saturday and Sunday morning.
Start early.
Yes.
Can't be drunk by 11 o'clock kickoff time if you don't start early. That's right. It's football season, right?
Jason, with your new entrepreneurship with Eggs Up, what piece of advice would you have for someone looking to start a new franchise or join one?
Don't underestimate what you're getting into. Have a good plan. Make sure you're communicating with your family. Set expectations that are not unrealistic. Those are some of the things that I definitely did, and have learned kind of through that. I had an excellent support system from my family. But live your dreams and live big. If you don't go after what you feel is there and the dream that is out in front of you, you're just going to sit and regret it.
Yeah.
But going into it with a solid plan and just with the right attitude, it's, not everything's going to go the way you want it to. In fact, most things are not. And take the wins when there's a win, but learn from the mistakes that you make. Don't get upset about them. Don't try to cast the blame. It's like, what can I do to improve it? It's not a problem. It's an opportunity to get better. And always looking at it that way and being optimistic has been what has driven me through it.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's what you got to figure out. Yep. Love it.
We really appreciate you coming in.
I'm super excited to be here. It's been great, and I'm glad to be part of it.
If you haven't been out to Germantown and went to Eggs Up, I'd highly recommend you making a nice jaunt over there. Have a nice cup of coffee, maybe a little Irish coffee now, mimosa. Try the Bananas Foster's French toast. It's pretty freaking good.
Across the street, Target, right. Germantown.
Yeah, it's a great place, cool location, beautiful shop, and the restaurant's gorgeous. So congratulations on where you've gone, and it's amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of The Restaurant Grind. If you did, please hit that subscribe button and leave us a rating on your podcast player. Doing so helps our stories inspire more people in their restaurant grind journeys. We'll see you next week.